say if you're at work or even in your personal life, it's just figuring out how you can almost say no to people in a nice way, and just say almost, these are my boundaries, and but obviously do it in a nice way. I mean, are there any particular neuroscience insights into that whole idea of how to say no, and maybe justifying why you say no to your boss or other people? I mean, what do you think, Frederica?
I think it's a very valuable skill, and it's kind of opposing our natural tendencies, because if you look at the brain, as we said in the beginning, we want to be in line with other people. We want to be part of a community. Our brains are very social. So telling somebody no is scary, because that people could stop liking us. The person could get offended. It's tricky. It's very hard. And so what I recommend is, well, in the book, I recommend a technique that's like yes, no, yes. But I even think it can be simpler than that. I think you should really have your priorities straight. You can't please everyone. There's no way in the world that you can keep everyone around you happy and liking you. I think that's just a reality we need to face. So what I personally do, for example, I try to keep my husband happy. I try to keep my kids happy. They get pretty much what they want from me, as long as it's unreasonable.
So who is more important, the kids or the husband?
Well,
or should you not say?
I should not answer this question now, but I would say they're equally important. They ask me this all the time. Do you like dad more than us? But it's tricky, because you want to keep everyone happy, and they're not always on the same agenda. So, like, for example, my husband likes an organized home, and my kids really like to create chaos. So who do I,
Their kids.
So, yeah, exactly. But I don't try to please everyone. And I think there's only limited room for people in our lives. I mean, unless you're one of these lucky people who have like a big, warm, family with 50 aunts and cousins, and they're all living in the area. I mean, that's amazing. That's how people used to live. But if you look at the way most people live these days in Western societies, it's almost impossible to have so many friends and also a career and also kids. So I think it's about saying yes to a few things and saying no to a lot more, and to be living with the consequences that this will also lead to the fact that some people will be disappointed. I'm always, trying to, one tip maybe that I can give is to do this at the very beginning. So I have these 10 commandments for great relationships. And one of them is get things right in the beginning. Many people try to please in the beginning, and then later on, they say, oh, by the way, this is something I don't like. And that's often a recipe for disaster. So what I do is I try to set expectations at the very beginning. I remember a company where I used to work, and people were always traveling together in consulting. And they always had beer together in the evening. They were like sitting at the bar and drinking and chatting. And to me, that's like the worst way to end a day. Like for me, it's like I would pay not to be there. Okay. I really, really don't enjoy that. So at the very first work trip with this new boss and these new colleagues, I said no at the very first evening. I said, listen, in the evening, I need my alone time. I don't want to be sitting in some bar. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to read my book. I'm going to go to bed, and I don't want to see any of you. And of course, they were all like a bit shocked, but this kind of resolved that problem for me. Usually people, when they start a new job, they would on the first evening join the team. And then how do you get out of it later? Like, do you go after 3 weeks and say, by the way, I hate drinking beer in the evening? Like, it doesn't work that way. So I try to always manage expectations the moment, the first chance I get, because then people get less offended, because then they understand it's not about them, it's about me. So I like to use that breakup line as well. So yeah, it's about getting things right in the beginning.